What are your views on IPL?
IPL is a great tournament. It's a phenomenal tournament. I think it's done a world of good for international cricket, Indian cricket. I definitely think, and I say this very vocally a lot, is the biggest distraction or the biggest deterrent from more Indian talent coming out are the international
Yeah,
foreigners.
you've spoken about this.
All the time. You know, international players who are not playing are a massive distraction because nothing that happens in that environment impacts their selection at a national team anywhere else. So they're just partying, they're just distracting. And I've seen youngsters who come in there training for 3-4 months, preparing mentally, trying to be in the right ecosystem because this is make or break for them, right? And you're putting them in an ecosystem with a person who just doesn't care. How fair is that? So I've always doubled down and said 14 years down the line, the number of foreigners we have in this league should be reducing quite significantly.
It should be because it's the Indian Premier League, and
It's the Indian Premier League. We should not kick them out. We should reduce it with the fact that and there's no justification to have them there. We're already number one test team. We're number one in international cricket. We're the number one association. We're the biggest contributor financially to the sport. We've got 30 odd domestic teams. We've got multiple other leagues. There's absolutely no justification for them to be there except to make money. And do we have the best interests of our junior players who see this as the main avenue or access to the national team? Are we being fair to them?
absolutely, because earlier there used to be Ranji and the domestic teams, and now IPL is also a way to make it to the big league.
It's become de facto domestic cricket. And
Yeah,
the case,
earlier it was only Ranji.
well, the case in point that IPL is de facto domestic cricket is that Virat's played Ranji from 2012, 13 years later, and Rohit 2015. In no other country in the world would an international cricketer not be allowed to even play one domestic game in a season, let alone get a decade in without playing with his domestic team. It would never, ever, ever happen anywhere else in the world, except India. I was shocked when I read that data point, absolutely shocked, and that means nothing because, even if they failed, and some of them did fail, their name is in the national team to go the following week.
Yeah.
So, we really have to rethink the system.
83 was something which I have heard so much, and I knew that was the impossible converted to possible. Correct. Because at that time, everything was against India. And then there was 2003, personally for me, because there has been wins and losses before 2003. But in 2003, I feel there was a sweet spot of some of the greats and some of the future greats, which is today.
Correct.
So at that time, the sheer talent that was present in the Indian cricket team, it's like a bull raging, and we're just waiting for which bull might just be the outlier and take it ahead.
I mean, 2003, the team motto in that year, in that tournament for us was now or never. You had Javagal, you had Ganguly, Sehwag, Sachin, Rahul, who were kind of stepping away. And then you got Harbhajan, you had Kaif, you had Parthav Patel, Ajit Agarkar coming into the fold. It was a beautiful mix of energy. John Wright did something absolutely genius. He appointed Yuvraj Singh as a batting coach. He appointed Ashish Nehra and Zahir Khan as bowling coaches, and he appointed Mohammad Kaif as a fielding coach.
Yeah.
And in the team meetings, Ganguly didn't speak. These three boys spoke. They decided the plan, they evaluated how well we executed the plan, and they spoke. And I keep telling everyone that a strength of a team is directly proportional to the vocality of the junior players in that team.
And all other teams are anyways reading the seniors.
Exactly.
They know, okay, this is what's going to happen if Virat comes in. This is what's going to happen if this one comes in. The people who they do not have data on is the newcomers.
They don't have, and it's not even about data. It's just that, yes, you don't have data, but senior players set up the win and junior players push it over the line.
Over the line, yeah.
No, this is just the formula.
This has been one line which you have really lived by.
I'm telling you the fact. You go to you look at football, you look at cricket, you look at any sport, the seniors will set up the win. Something special from a junior will push it over the line. The same happened with Australia there as well,
Yeah.
and we did everything. So Sachin and Sehwag didn't lose that game for us. It was that no junior stepped up. The seniors did what they had to, and stuff like that.
How was it like working with Sachin? Because I really want to understand what was going in that gentleman's mind constantly, knowing that he is at a certain position. There is certain responsibility, whether he be the captain or not. There is a certain sense of responsibility
For
that you
sure,
feel.
for sure. With respect to, Kunal, with respect to 2003, uh, some people know this, not everyone does, is that on the very, very first practice, we were in Boland, in Pal. We were going to play Holland in there. And it was 2 days before the opening ceremony. We were doing our very, very first practice session. So Sachin gets there, puts his pads on, walks in first to bat. And we had these bowlers that would come from schools. So we had a strappy Dutch boy who came, young guy, very, very nervous. We gave him a new ball. First ball, he runs up. First ball, super nervous, he bowls a bouncer that goes flying over Sachin's head. So John Wright sees this and he walks up to this kid. He says, darling, just push it forward. Just push it forward. Let them just feel the ball on the back. So he says, okay. And he goes back, takes his new ball again, and he bowls. And he's really trying to pitch it forward again. And he pitches at a really good length. And Sachin tries to go forward and play a forward defense, which was the shot to play. But there was a wet spot on the pitch, right? And the ball hits that wet spot and it shoots straight up and it hit him in the helmet, right? So Sachin takes his gloves off. He says, I'm not batting. And he walked out, right? So John Wright comes to me, gives me a bag of balls. He says, do me a favor, just take Sachin on the side there. Just throw some balls for him. So I threw balls to him for the entire practice, 3.5 hours. We worked on every single shot. At the end of that practice, he goes to John. He says, I don't want to face bowlers again. For the rest of this World Cup, Sharma will only throw to me. And that's what I did for 8 weeks. For 8 weeks, all I did as the other technical coach, other job, was look after Sachin. We went to practice together. After he did, he batted. He hit more balls than any other cricketer in that entire World Cup. It does not surprise me that he was man of the series. We worked on every single thing through the lens of the people we are facing with. And, he was, I think the thing that stood out for me is he's one of the most patient people. He knows all I need to do is just stay here. If I stay here, I will win. He knows this. Right. And that is the one most powerful lesson. If anyone wants to learn anything, the lesson to learn from Sachin is if you stay in the game, you will win. Right. If people get him out, everyone's losing. And he knew that. And all he did for the first 10, 15 minutes, he didn't even care whether he scored or he just stayed there, stayed there. And it gets to a point you can actually see in practice when I'm throwing to him. I knew minute 1, minute 2, minute 3, I had to get him out because we used to have this competition in the nets to try to get him out. We had these imaginary fields. And there was a moment which was anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes. In one ball, it just clicks, it switches, the brain just switches, now you're done. When that brain switches, your opportunity is gone. He's now, every single ball is coming square off the middle of his bat. The window of opportunity is done.
He stayed long enough.
He stayed long enough.
Got
It was
comfortable
between
with the
10 to
field.
15 minutes. He's seen it all. Now 10 to 15 minutes in a practice pitch could be 25 minutes in the game because of the number of balls we're facing. But there's that moment where you can literally see
That you're locked in.
that I'm done. I'm done. It's now
It's his game.
it's his game. It's entirely up to him. I can't do anything right. He can do something wrong.